Hello Spitsy's channel, this is Edmard coming at you with another Forza 4 video. This time we're going to be doing part 1 of a series that I'm doing where we'll be going through different cars and tuning them. And the idea is that I didn't want to do a tuning guide because it would take ages, and I know that there would always be something that I wish that I put in it, but I always forget to put everything in. Like every time I do a video, every time I want to explain something, there's always something that I miss out and I wish that I had said. So it will never be quite complete if I did a tuning guide. So what I'm going to be doing instead is going over different cars and tuning them for drifting. So hopefully with each car there might be something different that we need to change, or something that we need to do to the tune that will help it to drift. So in this first part we're going to be going over the MX-5, this third generation one, which is one of my favourite generations actually. I hate the Gen 2, the Gen 1 looks nice, and the Gen 3 is actually quite nice. The Gen 4, if you haven't seen the Gen 4 pictures, oh my god, that thing is, oh! Actually, you should, if you actually want to see a really cool MX-5 that you can get from Mazda, you want to look up the what's it called? Spider? I think it's the Spider. Anyway, let's look at the tune that I've put on it so far. This is a very bog standard tune. I haven't drifted it yet. It's just a very quick thing that I did. So at the moment we've got the tyres and the gears and the alignment and the anti-roll bars and the springs and the damping. Yeah, so this is just a pretty standard tune, similar to what I would put on all my cars before I go and test drive them and make sure that the tune's good. So we'll go and make sure that the tune is any good in a test drive on Tsukuba Short. I'll meet you on the other side. Alright, we are back, and here I am in the test drive, about to drift this car for the very first time. And here on this first corner here, do I want to say here anymore? I'm just checking fourth gear, see if fourth gear is any good. And I remember that it was actually felt a bit long, but it felt like the car was a little bit underpowered, to be honest. And also, I think I might switch it up to the game camera. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so if you listen to the car, well, you probably won't be able to hear it very much, but I'm actually struggling to get this car really going on this longer bit here. See how I straighten up? And so I'm feeling like this car might be a little bit underpowered. Maybe we could do something with the gears. Usually when your car feels like it's bogging down a little bit, you can maybe put a little bit more acceleration in your final drive. But here, like for example, my car was just, I had to really put a lot of effort in to get it out of that corner. And in here again, dropping it down into third gear, it was actually hitting the red line. I think the replay's actually buggered up a bit on Forza, but so it's not actually sounding like it's hitting the red line. But it was really like, when I was in third on the shorter corners, it was hitting the red line, and I had to go with less angle so that I could actually get around the corner, because it didn't feel like it could actually make it. And then on the longer corners, fourth gear just didn't have enough grunt to make it. And so on this next lap, what I did was I opened the telemetry. So that's what we're going to do now. And I looked at the tyres miscellaneous. Okay, so this bit tells us everything we need to know about the tyres, and mainly what I'm looking at is the PSI. Now the front PSI is 32, 31. That's pretty good. We like to have it around 32 because that's optimal grip. And the rear tyres are a little bit over 32, but I think that's okay. It's not too bad. And it didn't feel like there was too much of a difference on the tyres, and it felt quite nice to like slide into the corners and stuff, and that felt okay. So what I'm going to do next is check the suspension. Now, in case you didn't know, the bump stiffness is how much these little red bar, the green bars that go red, the green bars that go red, the amount of which that they can go up towards the top is the bump stiffness, and then the rebound stiffness is how much they can go down. So it's up and down motion with the suspension. And as you can see, the rear suspension is actually going red sometimes, but most of the time it's actually right at the top, which is what I like when I'm drifting. And you can see the difference as well as between the right and left when we're drifting is quite a lot, which I like as well. The only thing I can see from this as well is that the front suspension could do with a bit more stiffness at the front. But yeah, we'll go into a test drive and we'll have a look at that. Okay, so here we are back in the tuning menu, and we could see from that, having a go in the MX-5 there, that maybe the car is slightly underpowered. So actually I could go into the upgrade shop here and go into the power and handling, and we'll have a look at what we've got on. Okay, so air filter, we've got race, which is good, lots of weight reduction there. I want to check if I've got race fuel system. Yeah, I do. And race ignition, yes I do. Do I have race exhaust? Yes I do. We want to avoid camshaft because that will make our car, it only has power higher up in the revs, and it just, I don't like camshafts, they make your car feel weird. Race valves. Okay, this car is just maybe a bit underpowered in general, so I think what we can do, I think I actually do have like a sport turbo on this as well, so I think maybe it's not the power that's the issue. Maybe we can eke a bit more out of the gear ratios. So what we'll do, we might also, if we up the front and rear tyre pressure by 1 psi as well, this will create a little bit more slip when we're drifting, and it will mean that we can carry out a drift for longer. So if you put your PSI up by quite a bit, then you'll be able to make your car go a bit further out of a corner. So that might help. What I'm also going to do here is adjust the gears. Now I did tune all the gears individually and the final drive as well. What I think I'm going to do is give it a little bit more acceleration. So we'll put it up to 6.5, and we'll just adjust third so it's a bit longer as well, and second so it's a bit longer, so it's nice and smooth on the graph. And fourth can be, oh, not that way, and fourth can go up a bit as well because we have done a bit more acceleration in the final drive, and then we'll just smooth out fifth and sixth so that it looks nice. Okay, so you can see on that graph there on the right, we've got a nice curve on the graph. Okay, and the alignment was pretty good. I think I might put it down to 1 degree actually on the front, but that's about it. And then the anti-roll bars, I'm going to stiffen up the rear a little bit, just because it was a little bit shaky sometimes, but it was okay. Front springs could go down a bit so it's not so bouncy on the front, and the rear springs can go down a bit so it's not so bouncy. Ride height's fine. Okay, damping. So when we were looking at the suspension, we could see that the on the front suspension, if you want to look back as well, you can look back as many times as you like. The front suspension on the front left, say like when we're going around a left-hander, the front left suspension thingy that we could see, the green line was going under the middle of that little sort of diagram thing that it had, and I don't really want that so much. I want to try and have like some more front grip, so we're going to stiffen up the front damping just a bit. That should do. Something like that. And the rear damping was okay, actually. Wasn't too bad at all. And the bump stiffness on the front could be a tad stiffer. So this will improve responsiveness of the front end, because we've made it slightly stiffer. So like race cars have really stiff suspension because they want lots of grip. So we're stiffening it up a little bit so that it's a little bit more grippy on the front, a little bit more responsive, and it won't slide about so much because it's not moving around as much. And another thing that I'm going to do actually is just go on the differential, and I'm going to up the acceleration. This means that the rear wheels will, when we're on the throttle, the rear wheels will spin up at the same time, a bit more at the same time. Not quite at the same time, but they will spin a little bit more, basically. It just gives you a little bit more slide, and I'm also going to up the deceleration so that, oh god, that was a bit too much. I'm going to up the deceleration because then there'll also be a little bit more sliding going on. And that should be good. So hopefully the gears have helped us. You can see here all the different settings that we've done. It's not too much of a difference, but hopefully this little gearing thing will help, because it was bogging down a bit. Sometimes when I changed up to fourth was a bit too long, and third was, actually I might just give that a little bit more acceleration. That should do it. Okay. Apply. Okay, now we're going to go into another test drive and see how that is. Okay, so here we are with the very last test drive, and we're going to be looking again on this long corner here, just as we start, to see if fourth gear is good. And I'm finding it a lot better. Fourth gear is just right, just right. Now it just remains to be seen if third gear is any good. And I remember when I went into that corner there, it did hit the red line quite a bit, but I think that's just because third gear, it's okay. It's not hitting the red line when I'm on third gear corners, so it's alright. And I think overall the car is feeling good. It's any issues we had with the gears before are now gone. And let's check the tyre pressures. Actually, I never actually checked that while I was in there. Let's see. Well, we can look at the suspension quickly as we're going around this corner. As you can see, the back suspension is still really nice. Now the front suspension, there's maybe a tad too much load on the front, say like on the front right here. Maybe just a tad too much load. But it's actually okay. It's not too bad. And it's not as bouncy as it was before, which is nice. And I think it's going pretty well actually with this car now. And as you can see, it's not like bogging down. And I think that's also due to the up-in tyre pressure. I think that really helps, and also the gearing is a lot better. So yeah, I think all in all the things that we've done to this tune have really helped, and it's become something that's actually really good drivable car. And I think, what kind of speeds am I reaching? 77 there. Some good speeds around the corners as well. Let's have a look, see what speed I reach on this apex here. Yeah, it's not a very good line in. 57ish. That's really good actually. I'd be like 60 is like a benchmark for super duper speed on that second corner there. But I'm pretty happy with 57. And yeah, I'm actually really pleased with this car now. It's going really well, and it was actually anything that I would change now would be minute and just little things to just help it run a little bit better. But yeah, I think it's doing really well. And oh god, little mistake there. It wasn't really a mistake. I just stepped one little tyre on the grass, and every now and then it's a bit weird because like there I put a tyre on the grass and it's fine, but sometimes when you put a tyre on the grass and you're running simulation steering, your car decides to just flip out on you and spin around, which I guess could happen if you think about it in real life. If you stuck a tyre on the grass sideways, maybe it would go into a little hole or something and you might spin back around. That could happen. But anyway, I guess that's it for part 1 really. We've adjusted some things for the tuning with this car, and it's turned out really nice, and I'm going to put it on my storefront for free, so you can try it out yourself. But obviously you can just do that yourself really if you want to just check out what the tuning was in the video. But also you can download the whole tune, so then you get all the upgrades as well. Thank you very much for watching. Part 2 and so on will be on my channel, which you can get to. I'll put like a writing on the screen here in post-production, and yeah, my username is Edmard1, so same as my gamer tag but with number 1 at the end. And yeah, I'm gonna be putting that on the storefront. You can search in the gamer tag search Edmard, E-D-M-A-R-D, Edmard, in the gamer tag search, and you'll find my storefront. And this will be on there for free, I'm sure, by the time it's up on Spitsy's channel. Thank you very much to Spitsy for letting me upload a video to your channel. And there's lots more to come on my channel, guys. There's going to be a series where I teach drifting techniques, from the very basic things to, say, like different ways that you can initiate, to more advanced things like faster initiations and using weight and tandeming. So yeah, I'm going to be doing little tips and tricks and stuff, and more of this, more of getting stuff done like this, and it's going to be really good stuff. And I do lobbies of the week, and there's going to be loads of really cool content coming up on my channel. So yeah, you can head over to my channel, and yeah, I'm just spinning around doing fun stuff now because I know I've done enough for the video. And yeah, that's all we've got time for now, so I will see you all later.